It's the 6th of August and I'm doing a little bit of essential watering. By essential watering I mean the food crops and any plants that have very recently been planted. It's been a long hot summer and it doesn't look like letting up any time soon. We've recently had some of the hottest days on record. Southern Water, one of our local providers, have actually imposed a hosepipe ban. We're covered by Portsmouth Water here who haven't. They draw their water from boreholes, whereas Southern Water take it to a large extent from the local rivers. But I think it's important to enter into the spirit of conserving as much water as possible, and so actually I don't use a hose pipe very much. I prefer to do what I call the 2 watering can trick, and I do that for a number of reasons.
I set the flow from the outside tap such that I can use one watering can in the garden and judge my return for when the next is full, and so on. That targets water very specifically. It's also a nice way of enjoying the garden and paying close attention to specific plants while doing something useful. It's also, of course, good exercise.
This is a bed that's only very recently been constructed and planted, and doing the 2 watering can trick does allow me to take my time over each plant, perhaps see how much water it needs and actually have a good look at it in a way that you never do with a hose. So there's a lot to be said for watering. This is a new bed because I'm not doing quite such an area of vegetables. I'll probably keep the diversity, but I'm going to do much smaller quantities in future because there's only myself and my wife to cover really. Coming back to this bed, it's a good example of how I'm doing these beds, and this is also a way of conserving water. All these beds have weed suppressant fabric over them. I know I've gone on about this before, covered with bark. Now that means the water goes in all right through the weed suppressant fabric, but it doesn't evaporate off so easily, and I think because the vegetables where they can be are planted through weed suppressant fabric, I think that's helped to maintain the moisture in the soil for them and avoid the need for so frequent watering. The other thing of course is the beds that are treated in this way need virtually no weeding, so you can just enjoy the plants year after year. This is a Flomis that I moved from a place where it was taking over. I didn't do a video of that because I basically just chopped it out of the ground in the middle of the summer, cut it into 4, planted a quarter in there and see what would happen. So I didn't want to show that as an example of how it ought to be done, but it seems to be still alive. It's possible that it's quite difficult to kill those. These are the parsnips and these are the dwarf French beans, and behind me are the butternut squashes, which despite the drought seem to be having a particularly good year and are working their way to the house as we speak. The perennial plants, some of which you can see in front of me, I've not been watering at all, which seems a bit harsh, but the climate is changing. We are getting hotter summers and I'm interested to see which ones can make it, because I don't think for me it's very useful having a garden where one is working against the climate. One wants to work with it. So if any of these lovely plants don't make it because of the heat, then I'll have to look around for some that do and match planting in future to the way the climate is turning out. Anyway, if you'll excuse me, I'd better get on because I think another watering can is almost full by now. I hope you found something interesting or useful in this video, and as ever, thank you again for watching.